Hi, everyone. Welcome to Primetime TV Show. I'm one of your hosts, Barbara Marville Kelly. And guess who I brought back with me today? Master Dennis Kelly. And then we also have one of our very best friends forever in the whole wide world, Mr. John McCrae. It's great to have you joining us today.
Barbara. I'm excited about being here today.
You know, it's been a long time since we did that Ageless Living show.
Boy,
10 years at least?
At least.
And we haven't aged a bit, have we?
I don't think so.
That's a loaded question.
Well, we feel pretty good, right? And that's what I was posting on Facebook today to share some of our secrets. John has been a dear friend, well, gosh.
20 years now.
How long?
20 years.
Has it been 20 years? My goodness.
19 going over 20.
That's right, because we've been together almost that long, and it was when we were starting up with the whole Tai Chi program and everything.
I met John before I met you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We're gonna, I'm gonna ask John exactly how that happened back then in just a couple of seconds, but I know many of you were on Facebook today, and I have been shamelessly promoting our show today because I feel the world needs it. We need more reduction of stress, and we want to share some of the secrets that has really worked for all of us. John's going to be with us in the first couple of segments, and I want you to really hear what he has to say, because living a heart-empowered life has empowered all of us. And with my husband's program and everything that is outlined in this book, another little shameless plug, The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth, we all follow these guidelines, and it's really getting back to basics in just living a really good quality of life. So I'm going to toss this over to you, because I remember the story about you coming to see Master Kelly with vertigo, was it?
Oh, it was worse than that. I was at the gym one morning, and I'd just gotten over a severe bout of my blood pressure spiked, and I was in intensive care for 3 days. And it changed my life. I went from being perfectly healthy to couldn't drive, walk around the house with my hands on the walls so I could get around because the vertigo was so bad. I was basically incapacitated. And my wife would take me to the gym. And I'm on this treadmill one day going about 2 miles an hour. I couldn't whoop to anybody. And Master Kelly comes by and he says, John, he didn't say John, he said, I see you have a challenge here. And he says, I may have some answers for you. Would you be interested? And I just flat told him, I said, I'm interested in anything that can bring me back to where I was. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, if you'll come check with me after your workout, I'll talk to you about it. And he did. And 30 days, he said, if you give me 30 days, you'll see a 100% improvement over your condition right now. And you know, Barbara, that was 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
So I think he got longer than 20 days, or 30 days.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's interesting because you have actually not only helped yourself by doing a few moves, very natural moves, actually created from, it was once known as the martial arts with the Tai Chi and Qigong, but you've also become one of our professional certified instructors as well. And John always comes to our early morning Wednesday classes to teach with Master Kelly, and it just goes to show, once you get this into your system and you believe that it can actually help your body create really great things to go on, and if you just help it along a little bit.
That's right. In fact, you don't have to really believe it a whole lot. You just got to do it for 30 days, and your body will tell you that it believes it, because the fact of the matter is, the only way you continuously do this, particularly initially and when you first start to learn it, because it is challenging, is that you have to believe and you have to know in your heart that you're feeling better, you're doing better. You can see results in yourself. You know, it's not a sales pitch, you can see it type of thing. And that's what motivates you, because when you've got health challenges and all you're doing is taking pills, and the pills made me nauseated and sick, and it was terrible, and it was expensive.
Of course.
And all I had to do was learn how to breathe properly and focus and get mentally stronger. Basically, it was a no-brainer, Barbara.
Well, you know, it's exciting, and of course we do want to make sure that you understand we don't make any claims to cure or diagnose any disease or anything like that, but what we're here to do is to give you alternative methods to help yourself really stand up to the plate like you did. And that is not an easy thing to do sometimes. Sometimes it's a whole lot easier to take pills, because that's what we've been programmed to do. I know myself, when I was hosting on the Home Shopping Network, if I didn't have that good breathing, the methods that we learned through an ancient art. I mean, this has been around for many centuries, and just learning how to do belly breathing and really focusing and just lowering the stress levels, and thanks to my husband Americanizing it. He actually took the Yang
Yes.
style and did it as a result of Miss Jan, who couldn't do some of the exercises. Why don't you tell us about that? How did that evolve?
Well, I come from a background of dancing, and being in that background and being a professional dancer for years, it taught me a lot about the body alignment, about movement, and so on. So I decided to look for a style of Tai Chi mixed with Qigong, because Qigong was so great about developing the breathing, the lung capacity, the endurance, the healing process. It really makes a big difference when you combine the two. And the Tai Chi was developing the flexibility and softness and pliability of a child, regardless of what age you are. So it was a combination of those two things. When I came across this style of Tai Chi and the style of Qigong that I chose, it all really fit right in with the dancing aspects, the benefits of dancing, and so on. And actually, what I did is I took the main structure of the Tai Chi, the Yang style, and I broke it down into different categories: the foundation, bronze, silver, gold, Masters 1, and Grandmasters level. So it was much easier to market it. Also, it gave you a sense of recognition as you reached the different levels of the frequency, in other words, of the perfection, and being able to do it subconsciously and develop a way of moving and feeling good about yourself and about everything else around you, because it really teaches you to focus and concentrate, so you can leave out the negative stuff that's going on around us, and you can really concentrate on the positive stuff. And that's not easy to do, because 77%, according to the experts, of people are negative. So when you do Tai Chi and Qigong, it's very difficult to be negative. Negative people don't like it. They want to go on to something else and be negative, because it's hard to really be negative about something so positive. Now, some hard style exercises like aerobics and so on, it's sort of easy to be negative, because sometimes it hurts, sometimes it's difficult to follow a pattern. But with Tai Chi and Qigong, it really is conducive of getting rid of stress, especially cortisol, which is the death hormone.
Absolutely. Look up the definition of cortisol in the dictionary, yes, or if you're so inclined on the internet, Google it, because there's so many different things that trickle down when you're stressed out and you cannot control it. And believe me, I'll be the first one to say at one time, I couldn't control it. Not the way I do today. And I think both of you will agree that living a heart-centered life has a lot to do with it. You know the exercises that we teach with the heart and exercises with that from Heart Math.
I'll tell you, Barbara, when we first start with a new class and we tell people, don't mistake this for not exercising, because bottom line is you're getting much more out of it than you realize, and particularly as we teach older people and we have them put a chair next to them, because in the first 30 minutes of a class, your body will be taught how to get so much oxygen in your system that your palms will turn blood red, and so will the bottom of your feet, and you'll get all flushed and you'll start perspiring heavily. And it's like people can't believe. I mean, after we have a class that I've been doing it with 6 years with me and Master Kelly, okay?
I know.
And these girls are still, after class, after 6 years, are walking out of there with their towels and brushing their face and going, man, he got the best of us today, I mean, you just wouldn't believe you're going to get that type of cardiovascular workout from moving slowly. It just astonishes me even after 20 years.
It does me too. People underestimate this ancient art, but clearly once you start taking it, when you take the Qigong, I mean, that in itself is really great for learning to breathe, because most of us are shallow breathers. And I know from how many times my husband has said, when you get oxygen to the cells,
yes,
that is healing, when you get oxygen to the cells. And of course, when you add the movements with the Tai Chi and the beautiful forms that we do, it's like a dance. It's like a dance in motion and meditation all at the same time, and you can't help but feel fabulous.
No, that's true. And part of the things that people don't realize, when you do deep breathing with music and movement, that's meditation in motion. And the therapeutic value of the music and the deep breathing and the movement the value is insurmountable. That's why conductors of orchestra outlive the general population. Great book written by Dr. John Diamond. He was a kinesiologist, an MD, did a lot of research on movement and breathing and things like that. And he discovered through his research that there was 115 people, this was back about 20 years ago, all over the world, conductors of orchestra that were 70 years or older. And they were very healthy. In fact, some of them even were a little bit portly, but they actually were healthier than the general population and lived longer. And the whole key to that was the movement, really being able to relax the body, the deep breathing through the movement, and the music. Because when you have a conductor of orchestra conduct the music, they don't conduct rock and roll, or they don't conduct heavy metal or rap music. No, it's music that was designed for health and fitness as far as internally. Because the Tai Chi is really your internal fitness, not just your external fitness, where most exercise is external, very little internal. And the internal strength, proven fact, is stronger over the period of time as far as being healthy, as far as defending yourself. Internal strength will win over external strength every time.
And you're very passionate about that too. And
absolutely.
You've seen the times where he will have the two
examples.
guys trying to pick him up and everything and guess his weight. It's just amazing. And unless you really do it and experience the focus and concentration and how you feel with listening to the music, and there's just no comparison to it. And I, for one, I love doing the bronze level. I have not really advanced 100% to the higher levels. You're further ahead than I. You're in the gold
We're
now.
in gold now.
You're doing the gold now. Yeah. And then we're also doing what is called the international, which is also a lot of fun.
I love the international.
Isn't
the
that
international
fun?
Moves is truly like dancing. It's like doing a beautiful waltz almost. It's the hand movements and the motion, the actual steps that you take. It's just it just makes you feel like you're floating almost. Mentally, you're floating, you know.
It's a way to really escape and be in the moment 100%.
I'm in on that.
And when you can do that, that's when you can get out of your own way and put everything up on the shelf that might be bothering you. People that are, giving you sign language when you're driving on US 19 down here in Florida and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Kamikaze Alley.
I tell you, it really is a wonderful way to help yourself reduce stress and get centered in and of the moment. We have a commercial break coming up. We're going to go ahead and take that. When we come back, we're going to hear time for true confession from the Irish guy. We'll be right back after this.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
TV show. You know why we call this primetime TV show? Because we're giving it our prime time, and we like to share what others are doing in their prime time, especially when it comes to health and fitness. I'm your host, Barbara Marvel Kelly. With me is Dennis Kelly, my husband, best friend, and all that kind of good stuff. And our best friend forever is John McCrae. And John actually has his own real estate brokerage, which is McCrae and McCrae, and that's with his lovely wife, Annie, who I hope will be coming on the show one day.
Very soon.
Yes. It's so exciting to be able to do this here and really convey a few messages on maybe if you just glean one little tip or one little secret that has been ours for many, many years, it could change your life forever in the way you look at stress, the way you look at life, and really it's about the quality of life. We're here today and gone tomorrow. Why spend time stressing out? I have to share a little bit of my history going back to when I met my husband, and he told me this was a really critical part that made me really start thinking about reducing stress and trying to just calm down when I needed to calm down over whatever it was. And that was the 5 minutes of an angry thought put all those bad chemicals in the system.
Yeah, 5 minutes of an angry thought can lower your IgA level, which is your first line of resistance. It can lower it from 6 to 8 hours for a whole day. Just one angry thought, something that happened 5, 10 years ago, can actually lower that immune system. So you can imagine people that are angry, people that are not thinking positive, go around all day with a low immune system. That's why people that are negative, that dwell on negative, that ruminate on negative things, they're always sick. People that are positive, that they don't have room for negativity in their life, they're always healthy. They don't need to take much medication. In fact, if they do, they usually get over it, and then that's it.
Well, you know, that really did change my life way back almost 20 years ago, and I truly do a lot of the different things that we're going to be continually talking about here today. One of them is the heart lock-in, where my husband has taught, has taught this in our Tai Chi classes, and whoever we run into that needs to calm down a little bit, and it does work. In fact, we actually sold the 1 Minute Stress Management on the Home Shopping Network a number of years ago. My husband went to HeartMath Institute, and you can Google that and see what it's all about. It is a wonderful nonprofit organization where he went not once but twice and studied in the mountains, was hooked up to all the studies with the machines and everything to actually test the heart with the brain, the connection of all of that, and the results were amazing.
Yeah, it's quite amazing that inside the heart is another brain. There's some of the same crystallized cells in the heart that is in the brain. And the heart actually has 60 times more bioelectricity than the brain. It also has 5,000 times more frequency level than the brain. So the heart actually communicates with the brain, and the brain communicates with the heart. And once you learn that when you can go to the heart, call upon a caring, loving thought, the heart can really educate you with wisdom way beyond any book or any song or anything, as far as what it can do for us, as far as giving us an intuitive intelligence that most people would dream about, let alone have.
You know, it's so true. In fact, I'm going to turn to John because John was really sharing some passion with us in the green room just a few minutes ago about, really? An Irish temper? What's that all about?
Laura, that's an understatement. Barbara. You know, one of the things I've noticed, one of the byproducts that I've got, besides obviously my health has come back to me, and that I'm so appreciative of, it's beyond words. And I'm healthier today than I was when I was 50 years old, and I'm getting close to 70 these days, you know. So, one of the biggest challenges in my life prior to starting with my blood pressure issue was I had a terrible temper. A terrible temper. And getting it under control was a huge challenge for me. It was one of those things that you have to make sure that you tackle this as a lifelong challenge, because it was not a pretty thing when a man loses his temper, or anybody loses their temper. It's not the way this is supposed to be. And one of the tools that Tai Chi has given me, and I contribute this to Master Kelly 100%, is every class that he gives, when he starts that class, he tells the people in the class, get out of your head and into your heart. For the next hour, whatever that world has out there with you, you're not going to think about it. You're going to think about kind, loving thoughts. And he tells you to think about the person that you love the most, before he starts the Tai Chi class. And as he starts the Qigong movements and the exercises and stuff like that, you take a couple of deep breaths and you get yourself in the moment of this class. And believe me, for an hour, and it goes by, bam, that quick. I mean, it's unbelievable. People continuously go, I can't believe it's already been an hour, you know. But there's just so many byproducts you get from this, from taking Tai Chi. It's just remarkable. And each individual person will get something else out of it that they need, maybe that I didn't need, you know. But, you know, I know my wife appreciates my temper not being as hot as it used to be.
You must have really gotten that under control, because I don't think we've ever seen that.
No.
See what you did?
No, as long as I've known John, I've never really seen him lose his temper.
No.
Never.
See? And believe me, that's not the norm 30 years ago, okay?
And you know what? We really applaud you for seeing that and knowing that there just might be something that could help that. There's a lot of people out there today that may even be watching the show that may have a temper and handle things differently. And you, as a fitness trainer and nutritionist and all, you've said many, many times, and as a heart math certified coach, that when our brain and our heart are just out of sync, you can't think clearly. I guess that's where that count to 10 first before you start going off, right?
Yeah, well, that's basically where it started. But the really thing is to be able to, when you go to the heart, is have a list of things, or like a shelf of all the moments in your life that you can think of that were, when you think of it, and you go to that moment in your mind, it really makes you feel good. Or that warm, fuzzy feeling you get when you look at a picture of a loved one. When you can do that, then when there's an angry situation or stressful situation, you go to the heart, and then you have those special times in your life that when you think about it, it really makes you feel great, or that warm, fuzzy feeling like I mentioned when you look at a picture of a loved one. It could even be a picture of your Yorkie dogs, like our dogs. When I think of those two little Yorkie dogs, I get this warm heart. Or if I think about my wife when I'm away from my wife, I get this warm, fuzzy feeling too.
I'm just one of the dogs.
I didn't want to let her out. I want to give her equal attention. My two loves in my life are my dogs and my wife. And of course myself and all my friends, and all that goes. But
it's true, though. It does work that way when you can put yourself into that feeling of love as opposed to that feeling of anger. It works. It takes practice. It takes practice.
You're putting a lot of good hormones in the body. That's the important thing. If you go back in time and can capture a time when you were a teenager, when you think about it, it makes you feel really great. You're putting hormones in your body that you no longer put in your body anymore. Deepak Chopra shared that with me. And that is just so amazing when you can go back in time and really capture that feeling. So when a negative situation happens, just go to your heart. And the heart then will put out the good hormones. There's another hormone called atrial peptide, which actually helps the cardiovascular system really operate and function better. Serotonin is another hormone that it releases when you go to the heart. Oxytocin, the love hormone. It goes on and on. I could spend 3-4 hours just talking about the mystic part of the heart that would just blow your mind.
Absolutely. We only have about 5 minutes or less before we take our commercial break. Going back to the fact that we've known one another for almost 20 years, what are some of the highlights, integrity-wise, of my husband that you've noticed that I know he walks his walk. I live with him 24/7, but as a dear friend, a business colleague, a student, an instructor?
I think without a doubt, you know, anytime you become friends and you start doing business together and there start being money involved, that triangle is a very difficult triangle to survive the friendship. And I can truthfully say that in 20 years, not one time has there's ever been a time where I considered Kelly, I had to worry about my money at any time when we were working together teaching Tai Chi classes and stuff like that. And I've never heard anybody say that. And I think one of the things that really makes this work for me initially was that Master Kelly walks the walk, okay? And the people in the class that begin to know him and understand his philosophy of life see that on an everyday basis. And that, you don't never mind telling me about things. Just show me and I'll understand what you want me to do, you know. And he shows it 24/7 over the last 20 years, and that's the way I feel about that strongly.
And you know, it's really interesting to hear that, because our next guest coming up, you'll really get tickled with her, because she is amazing, Chrysula, and her husband Robbie, who met a little bit later on in life, and they've adopted Tai Chi as a way of life as well, and living from the heart. But I keep saying, I want to be a Grandmaster so that I can walk my talk 24/7, because I'll be the first one to admit that I don't. I will allow myself to do that whole female thing and overthink this and overthink that. But you know how my husband reels me in? I get the dad look. I get the dad look, and then I go, okay, I get it. Is that right?
I know better than to talk. I just look at her.
He does.
Like
he does.
That,
he does.
She gets the point.
But he does, no matter what is going on. And believe me, we've had challenges just like you or anyone else. But he maintains that, and I think that's probably part of being a Grandmaster. It takes a lot of focus, a lot of concentration, and I want to applaud both of you guys for really stepping up to the plate and sharing that with everybody out there today, because it can make a huge difference in your world on a regular basis, whether it be in business, relationships, with yourself, right?
Really.
With yourself.
You know, and I think it makes you a calmer, peaceful, kinder version of yourself that you've always strived to be. And the older I get and the more I do Tai Chi, the better I like me, type of thing. You know?
Oh, I love that. Can you imagine if we could have started doing this like maybe when we were 15? We're working on a kids program, so we're going to get to the kids too, and we'll hopefully have that rolled out soon. That's going to be called our Tiger Kids. So I want to thank you for joining us. What do you think of our set and our show?
It's beautiful, and it's so relaxing, and it makes you feel like you're sitting in your front room.
I know.
It's wonderful.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes.
When you're
it
relaxed, it's easy to have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I want to thank you for joining us, and we'll have Annie come back, and who knows, maybe you'll see them in their own little TV spot with McCrae and McCrae Realty out of Spring Hill, Florida. And my husband will be back in a little bit along with our next guest. So stay tuned, get your favorite beverage. Hey, I think it's past happy hour, isn't it? We'll be right back after this.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV Show. We have our guests coming out here now. I am Barbara Marvell Kelly. With me is Dennis Kelly, and I want to get right to more great best friends forever, which is Chrysula Gause and her wonderful husband, Robbie Gause. Welcome, and for joining us. Now, you were on one of our shows, gosh, about a year ago, I think. A year ago. Yes. Yeah. And I just want to let you guys know that these two are so adorable and really appreciate doing Tai Chi together as a couple for how long now?
Oh my gosh. 2.5 years.
2.5 years, exactly. And it was really interesting because not only have they been doing Tai Chi as a student, but they are also full-fledged professional instructors. And Chrysula is actually one of our master trainers, and she is going for her Grandmasters eventually. So maybe you can teach me by the time I get up there. So I want to hear, you were watching the show in the green room, and we were talking about living a heart-empowered life. My husband was giving some tips to our audience and how they too can do that. How has that helped you with making decisions and going to your heart and learning all this Tai Chi and everything? Just give us a little overview.
Would you like to start? I haven't had those kind of problems personally. I had physical problems.
Right.
And you guys talked about the lovey-dovey part. I'm going to talk about the physical part. Because I had open heart surgery. And when I met y'all, I was in bad shape, really bad shape. I was going to the chiropractor every other week with my knees and my shoulders and my back and just all kinds of problems. And the night that we met you, there was an older gentleman there, quite a bit older than us even, that was an instructor. And
hi, John. Go ahead.
And he talked about the problems that he'd had and what Tai Chi had done for him. And immediately I just knew that that was the thing for me. And since that night, I have not been back to the chiropractor for a treatment. And I was going every other week.
Did you feel, were you not exercising at that time?
Well, I've always been active, but not exercising.
Not
no.
exercising.
No.
So what was it about the Tai Chi that you liked that made you stick with it?
Well, it worked for him, and it started working for me. I mean, I haven't been back to the chiropractor for a treatment.
So now, mind you, we're not making any claims to cure anything or anything like that, but this is really amazing, and it's been a good couple of years, and I'm so glad that you guys came on because Robbie gets up on his soapbox to talk about how thankful he is for learning Tai Chi, and he is the best fan for his wife, Chrysula. And you guys have only been married, what, for 5 years?
Yeah, a little over 5 years.
How about that?
Newlyweds.
Yeah, exactly. That's about it. So
wonderful.
So you have found that the exercise was conducive enough to make you actually want to do the exercises because of how you were.
We've been doing it 5 days a week for 2.5 years, and it gets better and better.
Yeah.
And like you said, that hour goes by so fast, it's just unbelievable. And there's y'all talk about a sweat and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't happen to me. I mean, it's just it's so easy, and it doesn't wear me out by any means.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Beats running.
It beats running, and it's probably better on your knees too. Well, the sinking motions of the exercises too. It just helps put your body in that state where your body can do what it's supposed to do, right, champ?
Absolutely, because the legs are the pump to the heart. When you strengthen the legs and you make your body more flexible, the blood can flow through the arteries quicker, and it has so many other prerequisite benefits that are tied in to deep breathing, to movement, to enjoyment. And also, people that pick an exercise, if they don't like it, they're not going to stay with it. You got to have fun with it. It's got to be easy. It's got to get results. Because people, we don't have time to fool around with something that's not going to give us results. So many exercises out there only give you a minimum amount of results for the effort you put into it. This gives you a maximum amount of results because you're not only working the exterior of the body, you're working the interior. I call it the internal gymnastics.
I love it when you say that, and that is so true because you do get in the moment and you definitely feel it, and it's such a wonderful, relaxing exercise. I love to hear you talk about it because I can always tell, and then of course you just back it up even more.
Gosh.
What's it done for you? Now, Chrysula is also a Reiki master,
yes.
and we've known these two for a good almost 3 years, I would say.
Yeah.
And you've got classes in assisted living centers, correct?
Correct, and we do classes at home also. Right now with the summer, we've kind of tapered off a little bit, but we're just, I think it's all, like you said, from the heart. You know, you do your Reiki, this is so relaxing, and what you get out of it is just so spiritual and just, oh, wow, I get to start my day, you know? And everything else can be chaotic, but once you get into that moment and just breathe and just, you know, the meditation, and it's just beautiful. We're in heaven. We really are. We're very grateful to you guys, because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here.
Well, we were talking about that in the green room too, and it's just, I think, you know, God bringing us all together so that we can all do all kinds of great work. Our world is in very volatile times, and I think if it's going to be, it's up to me and you, each one of us, to do our share and learn as much as we possibly can. That's why my husband did all this research, put it together it's called the 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. All of this is really getting back to basics of nutrition, supplementation, and really looking at alternatives that you can set your body up as a miracle to help yourself really become a better person all the way around, but be as healthy as you can. My husband always says he wants to carry his own suitcase when it's his time to go.
Oh yeah, well, Hippocrates said everybody should die young at an old age. And the body is the best pharmaceutical factory in the world. And if you treat the body right, and if you understand that, it gives you, for example, for every disease there's a country where that disease doesn't exist. So that tells you something. The disease mostly is psychosomatic. In other words, we think we're going to get sick, or we don't think right, and we get negative. So we could really control disease much more by our attitude than we could ever control it by drugs. And that you can take to the bank.
Well, there's a lot to be said for that, absolutely. We do have a break coming up, but I just want you to know one thing, that we're here not to make any claims or anything, that what we do in our lifestyle is going to cure anything for you. But if you can make some intelligent choices and maybe some alternatives to what you're doing right now, and maybe you're not doing anything, just imagine what it would be like to possibly just be similar to our stories in better focus, concentration, better balance. I mean, think about that alone. So many senior citizens take a fall, and it's not just a fall, it's a fall and then healing from it, and or you end up in the emergency room with a broken hip or a broken back or shoulder or whatever. But that is one big thing, is learning how to really focus your balance so that when you are walking out there, and knowing how to really step back in our bow stances and everything can actually help to prevent a fall. And these are all a lot of the preventative things that they're actually teaching out there with the, focusing with some of the nurses and the different practitioners that are helping with senior citizens. And I don't think it's it's never too late to get started with Tai Chi, right?
No, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Exactly. What do you think, Champ?
Well, I think think is good.
You think thinking. Well, on that note, I guess we'll take a break. We'll be right back with more.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental. Providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Talk.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV Show. We're having a few laughs during the break here. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. With me is Dennis Kelly, my husband. And with us are the Gauzes, Chrysula and Robbie. Great to have you with us. Robbie got us laughing. He says, well, I'm just talked out. I don't have anything else to say. Well, let's see if we can hold him to that. I bet we can't. And Chrysula, we were actually talking about Tai Chi and the benefits of helping us with falling and really teaching ourselves the balance and catching something if it falls out of the medicine cabinet.
I do that now all the time. My spices. I go to grab a spice and then it's like, whoop, I'm like, wow.
See, that reaction time. And you know, something else that I have learned is also knowing what's in when you're driving and you know, you're looking in your peripheral vision and stuff like that. The Tai Chi really does help with that as well, so much. In fact, I brought this book in just for the heck of it because Harvard Medical School actually did a guide to Tai Chi. They have all kinds of clinicals and testing that they did with the studies and everything. If you ever wanted to know any more, pick this book up because it will really help enforce and enhance and really validate why we should all be doing Tai Chi. It can be extremely beneficial. And we also wanted to mention that, so I don't waste any time, Chrysula is actually going to be facilitating an event coming up on September 24th where we're all going to get together. We're going to talk more about ageless living, anti-aging, different things we can do to set our bodies up as a miracle, which is what we've been doing with Tai Chi because we're getting more oxygen to the cells, correct?
Absolutely.
We're breathing better, which is obviously going to give us more stamina.
Right.
And of course, we're also teaching ourselves how to balance ourselves better to help prevent falls because we all know. You know, it's funny, since I've been doing the Tai Chi, I have fallen a couple of times, but for some reason, I just get right back up and I feel like I heal better.
He has too. Tell him about your fall.
Well, What can I say? It tripped over my own foot.
It happens, doesn't it?
But he didn't land hard.
Got right up.
He got up, and I mean, just amazing.
Yeah, see,
Amazing.
and there is a big difference.
And he talked.
First you feel stupid, and then you feel, oh wow, got away with that one.
Or you look around to see if anybody saw that little escapade, right? I know, but it is, all kidding aside, we were lucky. We were lucky, and I tripped over something in the garage just about a month ago, and anyway, it was just one of those really dumb things, and I was down before I knew it, but as a martial artist, you kind of know how to kind of brace yourself or whatever. But anything else you want to share since you've been with us as not only friends, but working with us in our organization?
Well, I think that the beautiful thing about all of this is that the more you get into the Tai Chi and the moment and the Qigong with the breathing, it makes you want. Your body starts craving better nutrients, better food. I mean, it's just amazing how, the path, it just keeps taking you to become better people, healthier, mind, spirit. I don't know, we're just enjoying life.
Isn't it? I love to hear that. Now you're doing something. In fact, you're starting it tomorrow.
Yes.
Tell us about your 90-day challenge.
Oh my goodness! Yes.
We're excited about this too.
We are doing a 90-day challenge.
Yes, explain that to us, would you?
Robbie, is that something Robbie's just now finding out about?
No.
In a weak moment, I said I would go along.
Yes, he did. We just want to see what we can do with our bodies. We were already with the Tai Chi and the Qigong. We do it 5 days a week, and now we want to add our intake. What nutrition, what supplements, what foods, and really try to power us up. And do it for 90 days. So we're going to measure ourselves, and then we're going to weigh ourselves, and we're going to be talking about it. So if you want to follow us through Facebook or through Barbara and Grandmaster Kelly, let us know, and we'll let you know where we're at.
Well, you know what? That's a really good idea too, and we'll have you back. We'll definitely maybe we'll have you back on the 30-day, the 60, and the 90, and see how you're doing with that. Because you know what? It's great when we can partner up. Okay, yes. We have been really just taking everything out of our cupboards and our refrigerator that isn't organic. Because I did so much research on pesticides and the stuff that's in our foods. And I thought, well, if I just do a little bit at a time, and I didn't tell him I was doing it, just in case he goes, I don't want to do that organic stuff. That's a bunch of baloney. So I would test myself. How'd you like that relish? Or how'd you like that ketchup? Or how'd you like this or that or whatever? And so, it's something that just kind of evolves. And you know what? Going organic is not that much more expensive like it once was, like 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
And because our soil is so depleted with the nutrients that we need, we'd love to be able to eat food healthy and everything, but with the pesticides and all the crazy chemicals and stuff, that is what makes us toxic, right? Absolutely. And what happens when we're toxic?
We get sick. Sometimes real sick.
Very sick.
So we got to untoxify the body, and the key thing is to eat foods that you like and enjoy, because half the wonderful thing about eating is enjoyment of eating. So finding foods that are healthy, that actually you enjoy, is important, rather than eating foods just to be healthy that you don't enjoy, because attitude is important. There's a study, they call it classical medicine, where they believe that no matter what you eat, whatever your attitude is, that's how the food is going to formulate, either to be destructive or constructive.
Really? I never heard that.
Your attitude.
No kidding.
I met a couple.
Oh my
I don't know if you were there when I met this couple.
Good.
They were couples that were into that classical medicine, they call it. So it didn't matter what they ate, and they looked very healthy.
Wow.
And again, I mean, I wouldn't go to that extreme, but there's a lot to that.
That's really interesting.
There's a lot to that.
So that pizza that I devoured last night, I was in such heaven. Oh, that dripping with cheese and all that. Yes. So is that what you're saying? Because I was in such. I felt it at the gym today. Trust me, I did. And I was bicycling those calories right off. But it was so good last night. You felt it too.
Oh yeah, I thought it. She said, "I'm going to order it anyway."
That's right after I just suggested go organic. But you know what? We're all human, and if we cheat once in a while, you know what? It's not the end of the world.
Right.
However, eating that kind of food on a regular basis, then we kind of know what happens.
Right.
And
that's really what's pushing us to do the 90 days, because we do that, and now it's like, okay, you know what? For once, let's see if we can have something structured, you know, try to eat the best and take the best supplements and try to do for 90 days. What is it going to hurt?
Okay, exactly.
So
what is it going to, it's not going to hurt anything. And imagine if you can come up with a program, just to let everyone know, Chrysula is a culinary expert and is in the process of writing a cookbook. So during this 90-day challenge, we're going to get some recipes together. And maybe John will let us do a food show here at Tampa Bay Multimedia. Yes. Not a cooking show, but just a food show, and just, you know, talk about what's been working for us. Maybe we ought to join you with that 90-day challenge.
Yes,
what do you think there, Champ?
That sounds like a great idea.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Okay. Make sure
we'll eat at your house tomorrow.
There you go. What's day one?
Right, and if people have great recipes that are nutritional, I mean, you know, send them in. 90 days is 90 days.
Exactly, and it only takes, what, 21 days to do the habit? Form the habit?
Dr. Maxwell Maltz
So we
created
need
that research. The key thing to do, excuse me, is to stay away from sugar. And you can really make some really wonderful meals where there's no sugar involved. Sugar is the poison. That's what really does us in. So that's why when you are eating the right foods, then everything else works better, because it ties in with the Tai Chi, with the nourishment. It's like having a plan to really be healthy and live a longer, healthier life. Because most people, if you stop them on the street and say, "What's your plan, your success plan to be healthy, to live longer?" Well, I don't know. You know, they wouldn't give you any input of any value. The key is 75% of what you eat should be water soluble, fruits and vegetables. That's the key. And then the meat you eat should be very little. You could put in the palm of your hand. So keeping by that, say 75% of the time, and the other 25, 30% then being off of it isn't as bad as what most people follow. Having a plan, like 80-20, I think is the best result. 80% of the time, eat properly, really watch what you eat. The other 20%, that's when you get the pizza or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
providing you're not diabetic or something like that.
Well, that I just said to my husband, I said, maybe you can help me with a really good, maybe gluten-free pizza.
Okay.
And something.
So maybe we'll do that.
Because I'm not giving up my pizza.
No, pizza is wonderful.
We're gonna have a pizza party here.
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free, and that's a whole other subject in itself.
Yeah.
Because we've also been, I don't know that we're really gluten intolerant, but I find that I feel better if I don't eat gluten. So I guess there must be something to that. So yeah, coming up with a 90-day challenge, and it's exciting.
It's very exciting, because, you know, the more you do something, the more you want to do more.
Right.
And we know that there's things that are going to stick from this, which is wonderful, because we want to be healthy. We want to be around for each other, you know, and our kids and grandkids. So, you know, we're enjoying. We're like, you know.
You're so motivating and so inspiring. And, you know, that's really true. One of the best gifts that we can give to anyone is to set a good example. The gift of health, the gift of really being able to wake up in the morning and enjoying your day because you feel good and you look forward to another new day and feeling good. And you know what? The choice really comes back to us.
Yes.
Either to choose to look into it. And you know, it's not easy doing food planning. It's not easy educating ourselves on vitamins and minerals and protein and, you know, fat-free,
what kind of
low
milk
fat.
do you drink? You know, do you eat eggs? Do you not? Do you have, you know, so there's so many choices out there, and to make the what's the best.
Exactly, exactly. So we are here on Primetime TV Show to share some of our little tips and secrets that may add years to your life and life to your years. That's what it's all about. Now, if you live in our local area, I have a flyer here over at the Eco Bean in Tarpon Springs. We're going to be doing, let me put my specs on here. We're about ready to close our show, but I wanted to make sure that I got this information to you. Over at the Eco Bean in Tarpon Springs from 4:30 to 5:30, we're all going to be there sharing all kinds of tips on nutrition. We're going to talk about the effects of sugar and what happens when we have glycation in the cells.
Correct.
And how we can actually power up our cells by setting our bodies up as the miracle.
Yes.
And our bodies are a miracle. We were born a miracle, and so were you. I want to thank you for joining us here at Primetime. I want to thank John McCrae for joining us, and our very dear friends, the Gauzes.
Thank you for
and
having
Champ
us
here.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here.
All right. We'll see you next Monday. We have a special show. It's going to be a special edition with HSN Memory Lane. My former host colleagues are going to be coming back. Larry Muzzey's going to be here. It's going to be a hoot and a holler. So tune in then. Thanks again. Have a wonderful week. God bless.
Thank you.